Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome along to the SFC interviews here with former Stevenage left back Jamie March. So, how's things, Jamie?
Yeah, all good, thank you. All good. Looking forward to June the 21st when we can all get back out of lockdown. And it's been highly frustrating, but obviously we've got the correct reasons for doing these things, and yeah.
And of course, I think everyone needs a haircut as well now, don't we? So...
No, me included. If you can see, I've not had a COVID cut or anything. The last
had a
one
couple.
was about December,
Yeah.
so.
But now let's jump into Stevenage, and of course, what was the sort of main reasons behind you joining the football club in the first place? We were just touching on it there off stream a bit. Just sort of relay it on stream as well, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I started in the conference at 19 and I had 2 years at Kettering Town, 2 great years at a tremendous traditional non-league club, let's say. But at the time, Stevenage Borough was a club everybody was well aware of, flying through the leagues, won the league to get into the league a couple of years ago with the likes of, I think we mentioned Barry Hales and the gang, and great cup runs. I think Birmingham City was one off the top of my head. And yeah, and when you came to Stevenage, the new ground, all being developed, everything was in place. So when Cloughie contacted me that summer, showing an interest in signing me, I think other than maybe Rushton and Diamonds at the time, it was an absolute no-brainer. Stevenage Borough all the way. So I jumped at the chance. Yeah, it was probably an hour and a half from my house to travel. But yeah, it was always going to happen. Yeah, pen to paper, no problem at all.
And of course, with Paul Fairclough there as well, what was he like to kind of play under, and what were his sort of managerial ways like for you?
I've been blessed actually with some of the managers I played under non-league. I mean, Gary Johnson, Kettering, Nigel Clough, Burton Albion, Paul Phil Starbuck, Hampstead Town. These are all excellent coaches. But Cloughie was, as in Paul Fairclough, he was excellent to work for. Yeah, his standards that he demanded, and he was constantly out to get that extra little bit out of you. However he did it, he had his ways. Yeah, it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure to work under Cloughie, to be honest.
And we were touching off stream there about that first game of the season at Yeovil as well, where you were just saying in regards to I'll let you kind of give your own sort of analysis of how it all sort of panned out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, we were speaking earlier, Cloughie had assembled what seemed to be a young side after having a side full of experience and getting where the club did. I mean, it was such a shame it couldn't go up into the league at the time. So when you signed for Stevenage that year, you were signing under pressure. You knew what the club was demanding, and to be honest, it was promotion to the Football League. So you knew that was what the aim was, and you had to live with that. I was a 22-year-old, I think I would have been, 22-year-old, coming from Kettering to a massive club, new stadium, just a fantastic club. But I also signed at the same time with a guy called Rob Marshall. We were both orthodox left to right back for Kettering, young, fit, steaming up and down the lines. And I think that's probably what attracted us with Cloughie, just maybe the legs and the enthusiasm that we both had. And then, of course, he signed Paul Thompson. We mentioned Tomo, Geordie boy, moved down from Gateshead, Newcastle area to come and sign for Stevenage. So we were looking like a real young side. That was in and amongst some quality players, Mark Smith, Gaz Crawshaw that had been there ages. There was just Neil Treble. There was just plenty of players there. And of course, Trotty signed at the same time as well. Captain Trot, it had the makings to be a really strong side. But we did get off to a slow start, and I think I mentioned it to you earlier. We played Yeovil away, first game of the season.
Yeah.
And we didn't arrive at the ground until, I think it was around 3:15 kickoff, 3:15. There was an accident outside Salisbury Plain, changed on the bus, and literally just had to run out and then go and try and do your stuff with no preparation against a they were a good side over at the time. And yeah, we lost the opening game of the season. Of course, that meant Monday night. There was a big game Monday night because we played Monday night, so in the conference at home.
That's right. I think it was.
I don't recall the games against, but I think we were.
It was Kettering Town. It was actually Kettering at home.
Was it? Oh, I should have known. I should have remembered that then, shouldn't I?
Yeah, it was Kettering at home. The game after, yeah. Was
it? Yeah, and but yeah, it was different for me at the time because Cloughie, I've always favoured left back as an out and out left back, and at the time Cloughie had gone to wing backs again. So yeah, it was playing wing back was not my preferred position, but listen, Stevenage Borough and played for Cloughie. I'd have played in goal if you asked me. You know, so, but we tended that season in the league. We got off to a little bit of a slow start, but obviously that season was known for the cup run, the infamous cup run, so to speak, and it was just a great experience for us all. I think every single one of us in that squad.
And of course, you mentioned there some of the players that you played alongside, and there was Robin Trott and Mark Smith. I think they were both captains for you at some point in that season. So, of course, they're two centre backs, and what would they like to play alongside? And of course, at right back, you mentioned Marshall, and of course there was Ryan Kirby there and a few other guys as well.
Ryan was preferred first choice right back at the time with young Dylan coming through from the youth scheme.
Yeah.
But I've been lucky. I went on and had a really good non-league career. Like I said, played for some great clubs. Done a lot at that sort of. In the end, won the Dr. Martins with a couple of squads and FA Trophy final with another. It was great. But probably Mark Smith was just outstanding. And I mean that not just because I'm talking to a Stevenage chap, so to speak. He was probably the best footballer I've played with outside the professional game. He was outstanding. And Trotty was just Trotty, just dead steady, born winner, great guy, absolute great guy. So there was some real characters in that dressing room. Same with Trebs, what a guy. It was a good squad to be around.
And what was it like for you, of course, sort of playing part-time, and of course you had other commitments. I don't know if you were working or if you were studying at the same time.
No, at the time I was in a relatively good position. I was a van driver, really, delivering ball bearings and power transmission, which is still the line of work I'm involved in to this day. But I was lucky. I was afforded time to train. To make sure I could leave at, I think I used to leave at 4:45 to get down to training on a Tuesday and Thursday at 7 o'clock start, that sort of thing. So, and obviously Saturdays wouldn't have been a problem. The job didn't affect my Saturdays. So, I worked for a good company that allowed me to do that. It got a little bit more hairy in the Newcastle. And the Newcastle run because there was a lot of media demand and things like that. So I owed a few hours, let's say.
We'll touch on the Newcastle run in a little while as well. But in terms of the league campaign, of course, we played against Kettering, and on the back of that, we actually went on a 4-game unbeaten run as well. I think we drew 2 and won 2, and I think we only conceded 1 goal in that run as well. So, of course. What was that like to be a part of that sort of little run there? And of course, on the back of starting so sort of, slowly against Yeovil as well.
Again, for me, I was finding my feet at Stevenage, a young lad at a big club with big expectations. It was all those games were just making sure from a personal point of view that I got settled quickly. I was playing well. I was getting selected. And, the results then started coming. But Cloughie was a tinker man, to be fair. He would change his team. If you didn't perform, you were out the side. That was really one thing about Cloughie. So you knew the standard had to be there. And I'm sure anyone that played for Cloughie you knew where you stood.
And were you competing at left back? I think it was Michael Love that you were competing with at left back as well.
Yeah, Lovey came slightly later. To be honest, I remember, it was a little while ago, but I remember Michael Love arriving at the club because Cloughy had actually changed the system then. He was looking to go for a 4. But Lovey was also very comfortable playing left midfield. As well as he could play left back, he could play left midfield very well, which is where it probably, if I'm honest, I was slightly different. I was just out and out left back, pushed me one further, and I was less effective. And of course, we still had Trebs in, the 3 of us along that side, the 3 quality players. So, yeah, he didn't play well. He didn't play. So, Lovey is a friend of mine to this day. I mean, we used to travel down together. So it was always interesting. Who's going to play, me or him? But
bit of healthy competition is always good, though. Anyway, yeah.
No, absolutely. But you can't go to any football club and not expect competition, can you? I mean,
no, for sure.
You look at the Liverpool selection today with players like Mane on the bench and things like that. It was very similar at Stevenage. We've got such good players, and Cloughy was always bringing in loan players as he could. He got the budget to pull players in from clubs like Graz. Graz was a loan.
Yeah.
And there's a few others in that squad at the time. Niall Inman, again, another left-sided player. I think he was on loan from Peterborough. I think Simon Stapleton was probably a loanee, and he could call these people into bolster the squad. So,
and it's good to have those kind of players come through, and of course, be able to add a little bit of experience from the league as well. And we had some real good players on show. We didn't even touch on Des Gallagher in goal, with the likes of Stuart Beaver and Jason Solomon. There was plenty,
Of course. Yeah, I mean, Jay's quality player. Of course, Stu was a Stevenage boy through, wasn't he? Certainly a local lad, come through the ranks, and was a hell of a player. Des was the legend goal. Des the cat. It was superb. It was a good, strong squad. We should have done better, I think. The cup run was infamous. It was brilliant, but that year in the league, we probably should have been a lot higher, even if it was used as a platform to build to the next season, because it was a younger squad that was being assembled. Certainly, like I said, Rob. Unfortunately, Rob never played because of his injury. Tom never. We didn't see anything too much because of the injury, and of course, Gaz Crawshaw. What a forward he was. The hardest working forward I think I've ever known.
Absolutely. We'll touch on the FA Cup run now, and sort of where it all started, really, because it started with an away game against Carl Shilton, didn't it? And we were on that day. It was a 0-0 draw, and of course we beat them in the replay 5-0. But sort of sandwiched in between that was a league win over Farnborough, where we put 5 past them and won that one 5-0 as well. So how much motivation and confidence did that Farnborough game give you into getting through into the replay and winning the replay?
Yeah, I can remember the Carl Shilton game. I remember the 0-0, and I do remember playing on the Monday night to 5-0. I do remember the game. Farnborough, I can't remember too much of the Farnborough game, but it was a great result. But it would have given. We were slightly inconsistent that season, and all we were looking for, we would go and beat a team quite convincingly, and then go and drop a stupid point or lose to somebody that we just shouldn't be losing to. Again, I think that was probably because it was a new team that was gelling together, and Cloughy was changing between 3-5-2 or maybe 4-4-2 or whatever, just to see what the best was. But yeah, I mean, I think after the Farnborough game, we went into was it Cambridge the next game, wasn't it?
That was the Carl Shilton replay.
Carl Shilton replay. Okay, yeah. So we went into that, and I think when we look around the dressing room, I mean, there's other players I've not mentioned there. I can remember experienced players like Steve Holden, who played a million games in the conference, Kettering and Rushden Diamonds. So everywhere you looked in the squad, there was a real, there was just quality everywhere at that level and at that time. Real quality. So whatever team was going to be picked, it should win the game of football in that league at that time. However, like we say, a little bit of inconsistencies, maybe pressures to do so well. I don't know, but
And of course, that Cole Shorten game, we went on and beat them, and then we played Cambridge, wasn't it, in the next round, and that was another one where we took them to a replay and we beat them 2-1. I'm sure they were a league club, if I remember correctly, at that time as well, weren't they?
Well, yeah, they weren't in the conference, so they were League
Two,
I think at the time. But it was it was a great result. Great result to go there, and was it 1-1 or 2? Was it 1-1 now?
In the away game, I'll tell you in a second. I think it was 0-0, or was it 1-1? Hold on.
Was it 0-0?
No, it was either 0-0 or 1-1. Yeah.
I think you might be right. I think it was 0-0, and but again, great result. Great result to go there. No expectations. You're not expected to go to Cambridge and win. Bit of a derby. Well, it wasn't a derby as such, but localish. Yeah. Plenty of Stevenage fans went on that day because it's just up the road. A really good game. But to bring them back to Broadwell Way on the Monday night and beat them, something special was going on now. You could tell. There was some momentum. We've got history. Guys before me, they knew how to win an FA Cup third round game. They've done it. Or get to that stage. So the momentum was building. It was just a case of who was going to be drawn next.
And I remember those games quite clearly in my mind as well, quite vividly. The Cole Shorten game, I remember that one. I was there, as I said to you at the time. I think I was about 10 years old, 9 or 10 years old. I went with my dad and my brother come with me as well, who was only like 7. And we were there at the Cambridge game, the Cole Shorten game, the Swindon game. We couldn't go to the Newcastle game, which was the one gutting one. We went to the home game, but we weren't allowed to go to the second one because it was on a school day.
Oh wow!
So but my dad went, and he went with a couple of his mates, 3 or 4 of his mates, I think it was, and there was a few people coming out of school to go and see the game, but he basically said, no, you're not allowed. It's like we were gutted. We really were gutted not to be able to go down and see that away game.
Yeah. So you didn't did you get to Swindon?
Yeah, we were at Swindon. Yeah.
Can you remember? It was a storm force wind going down one way county ground.
It basically the wind assisted one of our goals, didn't it? If I believe correctly as well.
Yeah. I mean, Swindon was a bit unfortunate for me. I wasn't in the side at the time. I remember with having a flu jab. We had to have a flu jab at Stevenage, and it really knocked me out. Properly. Which made me a bit nervous about this vaccine, by the way. and I didn't train. I can remember I didn't train, which I don't think that's ever happened to me, to be honest, because of I was just ill, and I wasn't right, and I found myself not in the team. Obviously, Lovey went in and played really, really well, and he kept it. I think it was Rushden before. I think we may have beat Rushden before the Swindon game.
I think in the league,
anyway, it wasn't. We did, didn't we?
In the league, it was.
I found myself not in the squad. At Swindon, and I travelled with the squad, and Cluffy named his team on the bench, and I wasn't on the bench. We've got a few loan players in, everybody fit, and I didn't really. To be honest, that was one of the most disappointing things because I wasn't involved in that game at all. I mean, obviously, I was there supporting the team, but looking at it when it started, I thought, probably glad I'm not in this one. You see in the wind when the ball would. It was.
I remember. Didn't they have? Weren't they managed by McMahon?
Steve McMahon, the ex-Liverpool.
Yeah, that's right. They were managed by him. Yeah, he scored. Mark Walters scored the goal for them. Yeah.
He did. Ex-Villa, ex-Liverpool. Had been a player. So I mean, unbelievable game how that went, and to win that game again with a league. I think they were League One at the time, weren't they?
They were. No. They were what you call the Championship these days.
The Championship, what they were, weren't they?
Yeah.
Jeez. And I just remember the scenes. My God, the scenes with the players when we'd won in the last third round. That was the third round game that we'd gone and won away.
I think they were doing well in the first division at the time as well. I'm sure they were like top half or something. Yeah.
They were a good side, but I think maybe the game was a slight leveler and we played the conditions better. The pitch was dreadful, the wind was dreadful, and for some reason we just dug in. Just absolutely, the lads were magnificent that game, absolutely magnificent. And yeah, for me, I wasn't selected, but that doesn't matter. I mean, we're all in the dressing room, on to the next Saturday, and who we're going to draw in the fourth round. The fourth round of the FA Cup.
Fourth round of the FA Cup is. It's madness, isn't it? Crazy for a side that non-league side as well. Yeah,
and I always argue as well, Mike, with it. We do see these teams nowadays coming from the conference and getting to FA Cup third rounds, which is absolutely tremendous. But we'd all done a day's work the day before, and a lot of the conference sides now they are pretty much full time. Or at least
they are,
full part-time, if that makes sense, where they are training probably 3 and 4 times a week because of the salaries or whatever they're getting. And, we were genuinely Tuesday night, Thursday night game, Tuesday night, and work all day, drive. So it was an unbelievable achievement. And after that, I don't really remember too much because we went out in London.
Okay. I think I've heard the story. I don't know if it was Rob or Mark that told me the story, or Neil, but one of them told me the story, and it was a bit of a messy night then, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, somehow, I'm preempting your question maybe, I don't know, but we went, after the game, we all went out, we went into London. Now, I cannot remember from that evening, but somehow I woke up in Leicester, ready to watch the FA Cup draw live on the TV. I don't know what happened in between those. I don't even know where my car was. I think that was abroad away or something. No idea. But it was an eventful night, I believe, and we deserved it. I mean, it was to go to a championship side, as it were, win the game, FA Cup fourth round. Yeah, I think we deserved a few beers, don't you?
Yeah, for sure, mate. And who did you fancy in the fourth round? Did you want Leicester, or did you just sort of, were you just happy to get any Premier League side?
Well, I think if I'm honest, you want the biggest team possible. I think everyone does. Man U, maybe Arsenal. But having said that, Newcastle were the second biggest team.
Yeah, at that time they were.
I mean, you've got Alan Shearer playing for them. You've got Keith Gillespie, who I had to mark in the end. He was probably one of the best wingers in the Premier League at the time, bar none.
Yeah,
just left from Man United. Left Man United. He left Man United. I think he left Man United probably not so much on his ability, but I think he got like gambling things, going on or whatever. But he was just an unbelievable player, brilliant player.
And that whole side as well, if you look through that Newcastle side, there was Alan Shearer, Keith Gillespie, Stuart Pearce, Rob Lee. I think David Batty was in there as well. There was who else was there? They had at the back and in goal, and they're all over the pitch, really, to be honest. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, there was strength that everyone all the way through. There's so many internationals, wasn't there? Shay Given, Shaq, his lot with the 2 goalkeepers, Beresford, Philippe Albert, Belgian international, Stuart Pearce. Jesus Christ, Stuart Pearce, what a baller he was. And then you looked at the younger lads, Pistone, and then you got John Dole Thomason, who ended up he went AC Milan after, And then you got legends like Ian Rush and John Barnes on the bench.
Yeah.
Come on, I mean, I tried to show my son the programme, say, look at these players that your dad played against, and he'll go, who? We all know how good that squad was at the time.
Oh, it was. I've got the programme upstairs. Actually, I've got it. It's literally in my bedroom drawer. So I was looking at it the other day. Yeah. Because from the home game and the away game. I think he went to the away game and he brought us a programme back from the away game as well. And I've got both sort of still in fairly decent nick as well, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah.
So of course, go on.
I mean, the media. So you go. No, I was just going to say that when that draw came, I think it was just a scramble for the phone, and everybody was ringing everybody. You seen who we've got? You seen who we've got? Unbelievable, unbelievable, and from that day on, 6 weeks? It was just the craziest.
I was going to say, in regards to,
I've ever known.
I was going to say that as well, that the media attention that was surrounding the town, and the build up to that game. Obviously, the Newcastle, who I don't know who they were. People from Newcastle came down to try and get the game changed to over in St James's Park, and it all kind of went a bit crazy, didn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I'm going back. I was so focused as a player in the whole euphoria of it all. I was going to play Newcastle United in some shape or form. Whether I started the game, whether I was sub, whether left out of the squad. The media frenzy was crazy. That's what we were heading for. We were going to play Newcastle United, and I would have thought all the players assumed that at that time the tide would have switched. We'd have just gone to St James's Park, played in front of everybody, got beat 10-0 and lead. That's what we thought might happen. But was it Victor Green, the chairman? That was his name, wasn't it?
Victor Green. He stood up to them, and he was
different
great.
Ideas.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. He had different ideas, and he smelled fear for some reason. And the minute he smelled that fear, and Cloughie on top of that, it caused this media frenzy that the players got involved in, and it even dragged the Newcastle players into it. And I think from a positive point of view, it was brilliant. We got Stevenage down. We got Newcastle down to Stevenage. All the media hype. Every man and his dog wanted to watch the game. You've got the press all involved. Every country's press all involved. It went absolutely mad. But from a player point of view, and I don't know whether the other guys ever thought this, but it really put a distance between us and them. Now, in non-league, over the years, in the non-league, you'd play your football and you'd go into the bar after, wouldn't you? Fans
you'd have a drink with the fans.
The players would have a sandwich and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Shake hands, have a pint, even if you two-footed somebody, or, that's just how it was. And the Newcastle players just didn't want any involvement with us. It just seemed that way, There was a few that were good, and others, they just literally played the game, drew, left. That was it. That we saw of any of the players. Got on the bus, gone. And it was very similar at St James's. You just you actually want them. You look at them so in awe of them. Let's say you probably just want them to. I go, do you know what, guys? Well done. But we never really got that, because I think there was some animosity that was built that. It was needed, because it got the club where the club needed to be. It was a tremendous result, and a trip up to Newcastle.
And of course, that home game as well was a fantastic game. Of course, Shearer gave them the lead after, I think it was about 2 or 3 minutes, something like that, really early on. And he's just come back from injury, started the game, got himself a goal straight away. And then on top of that, I don't know whether it was, what your sort of feelings on this are, but I thought that we should have gone on, and to be honest, we were unlucky not to win the game.
Well, that game again was all the media hype. It was a cauldron.
Yeah.
We had the stand at the end of the goal, didn't we? That was put up temporary, that allowed, was it 9,000? Screaming, screaming football fans. They're brilliant, aren't they? Making a noise. The atmosphere was absolutely unbelievable. But you've got Shearer. He was a cage beast at the time. He'd been out. 9 months, 10 months?
First game back in 10 months, I think.
And he was, God, he was fired up, really fired up with what had gone on. And I can't remember how many minutes it was, but I know, sorry, Michael, but I know Gillespie went past Lovey, put the cross in.
Yeah.
I was on the
bench. I'm sure it was about 3 minutes.
About 3-4 minutes, wasn't it? And we thought, oh no, here we go. What's this? But for some reason, we just galvanised together. And I will say one thing, that about that squad, we were all great friends. We really dealt as a team, really. A bit, I always liken it with my son to the Leicester team that won in 2016, won the Premier League.
Yeah.
They were a band of brothers. They were genuinely great friends. And I think we could have said that. We could say that about the Stevenage team. We all got on. There was a great camaraderie. We all, we socialised together when we could, and it was brilliant. But on the pitch, it just all came together. We got on top. I remember.
I think we had one disallowed.
We had a header saved.
Yeah, we had one
disallowed. It was from the corner, wasn't it?
One disallowed. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think there was a feeling that we could go on and win that then. But then, of course, from my point of view, Lovey unfortunately took a heavy knock, which broke. I think he broke his metatarsal, I believe, at the time. So I had to go. I was sent on just to go and play left back, and I got the briefing from Cloughie: don't let him pass you. That's all you got to do. Meaning Gillespie, don't let him pass you. Okay, and obviously I got involved in the game there, but to get the equaliser, the crowd just went bonkers, and then
it was mental. I remember.
Hang on, did we hang on? I suppose we did hang on to a certain extent. Didn't we?
I don't think we really did. I thought we were the better side. We could have gone on and won it, and it was great to get the replay in the end as they go up to Newcastle, and even there, that whole thing with Mark Smith clearing it acrobatically off the line, and we have to look at it now.
No, that's a point as well, mate.
Yeah,
that's the point, mate. If we had VAR,
I know. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, the amount of times I've seen that replay, unbelievable from Smudge, by the way, but it's not a goal.
No, it's not.
It's not a goal. The ball is not over the line. And I think when we scored to go at Newcastle to go 2-1.
Yeah, of course.
I think if we'd have had 5 minutes more, we'd really got them rattled. Got them rattled. I mean, of course, we've got quality everywhere. So they could have produced anything out of thin air. But at that moment of the game, all their fame, their international experience, it was out the window. We were gunning. We were really, really going somewhere. But,
and we had chances as well. I've seen the replay back of the game, and the highlights and that. And even after Gary Crawshaw's put us back into the game at 2-1, we've had chances there to, at very least take it into extra time. Yeah.
I'll always remember, and not many people may have remembered it or seen it, but I was elbowed by David Batty, proper bang, right across my nose. Took me out completely, off the ball, and again, VAR.
Look at that, and it could be a red.
I think the referee saw it. I don't think he had the rules to disallow it. Send him off. I didn't think he had He wasn't going to do it because it was a blatant sending off. And of course, the goal didn't go over the line. It was just sheer experience running off with his arm up that convinced the linesman.
It crossed the line when it happened. Yeah.
I mean, the whole game,
It was crazy. And of course, let's jump to, the future, really. And of course, you were all invited back for when we drew Newcastle here for the game where we ended up getting the revenge as well with the 3-1 victory under Graham Wesley. And of course, it was it Trebs who organised all of that, and of course getting your whole sort of group back together again. And it's a great way to get the whole group back together. And then obviously the boys on the field gave you a good result as well.
I know it was quite a little bit disappointing for me because I wasn't at that game when we won. Somebody hadn't got my number and they didn't get in touch with me or whatever. So I'd have been there in a flash.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, I wasn't there. I was disappointed about that. But, that's happened. It's nobody meant it or, it was just one of those things. But, we recently met up. I say recently, it was 3 years ago again, but we celebrated 20 years. Everybody managed to get in touch with each other, and we all met up down the club and a bit of Q&A, that sort of thing, and a few beers. And I think
didn't you play against the? Didn't you play against the? I was going to say, didn't you play against the fans team as well? Didn't you?
Yeah. We did. To be honest, I mean. That was the first time I'd seen the training facilities for Stevenage because we used to train at a school. I can't remember the name of the school now, but we trained at a school when I was there. And I went up, we saw the new facilities, lovely, lovely up there, superb. And we played against the supporters club, didn't we? I've actually got a photo of the actual back four that played at Newcastle.
Yeah.
James Dilnut, Mark Smith, Trotty, and myself. And we all played in that game, but yeah, I think we were slightly hungover, but even still, Mark Smith, that was standard, I think. He was still outstanding, 50 odd years old, a night out after a night out, and he showed how good he was. But lovely day, really nice. Just nice to be back in and around the club and the supporters. It was great.
And of course, let's have a look. So we touched on the Newcastle game there. So of course, we were talking about it yesterday, really, as well. I'll touch on sort of a little bit about Alex Ravel and some of the other things with teams at the moment. But you were saying that you're friends with Danny Newton, the Stevenage current striker, as well. So how's that all come about? Yeah, how long have you known Danny for? Yeah.
Well, I'll go back to my career. I was playing for Hensford Town at the time. We had a really good side, top of the Unibond Prem at the time, under a guy called Phil Starbuck, ex-Forest, real good, really good coach, excellent coach. And I think I was 33 at the time. I tore my cruciate myself. So that pretty much finished me at that age. It pretty much finished me. So what happened was I couldn't play, and I was trying to find my way, which way I went. Do I go into management? Do I go into coaching? I was a coach. I was coaching Leicester City Academy in the evenings. And I decided to, that was back then, and I decided to help a friend out in management in step 6, I think it was, step 6 or 7. And we had a good side, good young side of these lads, and I was obviously trying to coach them. And we had this kid come along. Danny Newton, right? Great lad, really nice lad, and we put him on the left wing, and he just used to get the ball, and wherever he got the ball, it ended up at a shot at goal. It was just fantastic to watch. And I remember just looking at him, and after the games that we used to play, I said, Danny, you have got so much ability, mate. You can go and do what you want. He was as raw as anything. He was a great kid, great personality, listened, and that's important at that age. He really did listen to what people have got to tell him. But he was the sort of kid that looked like he'd sleep with his football. He loved football. And everywhere he'd go, he just want to play football on the park or whatever. He got this passion. And we managed to improve him vastly in his positional sense, when to run with the ball, when not, when to 1-2, when to get in behind and make smarter runs. We tried to give him as much encouragement and our knowledge as we could. And the next thing, he was tearing up that level, tearing it up. And he moved to a club called Hinckley United.
That's it, yeah.
So we lost him in that season relatively quickly because he was doing so well. And Dean Thomas was the manager at the time, and I think Danny probably verified this, but I think Dean moved in more central because he got so much power, so much pace, so much strength, direct running, and he went on into that Unibond Prem, I think it was at the time, and again he tore that up, which attracted Tamworth, I believe, and he went to Tamworth and he tore the conference up, and when I heard that Stevenage were looking at him and wanting to sign him, I mean, I hadn't got contact with him as such every day, all day, but I sent him a text, I remember, or a direct message on Twitter and said, good choice, mate, good club. And I think he was bombing, wasn't he? He was bombing for you guys as well, real.
Yeah, when he started off, when he started off at the club, he was great. He was firing in goals, he was putting in the shift every week, and then he's had a lot of injuries to deal with over the last 18 months to 2 years, and it looks like now he's getting back to his best again. He scored a couple against Forest Green on Tuesday night, and he put in a good shift yesterday in the victory over Harrogate. He didn't score, but he was working his backside off as he always tends to do.
That's something that I just knew he was going to play a lot higher, because his work ethic and his enthusiasm, and he listens. I've got back again really on what I just said. But when you've got that, you've got a chance. You really have got a chance. And I just like watching him. I just like to watch that kind of player, you know, it's just oozes football, you know, enthusiasm. So yeah, good luck to him. I hope he scores a few more goals. And
I was going to say, he was great on Tuesday night. He got man of the match. He got 2 goals, and he got an injury as well towards the very end. And you know what Danny's like. He wants to carry on. He played yesterday. He was fine, but you know, Revs wanted to take him off, and he wanted to stay on and get the hat trick.
Yeah. That sums up everything that I've said about Danny Newton. That's just his character. You know, what I seen at that age, and he'd have been 16, 17 maybe at the time. He had a real chance, and to be fair to him, he's gone and took it. And hopefully, you know, I think you need a couple more wins just to make sure. And if you've got him to the end of the season, that's going to happen.
Yeah, and of course, you know, we'll touch on Alex Ravel as well. He's come in. He had 2 games before the pandemic, and you know, now he's really started to have since Christmas. He's had a very, very good run with the club, and you know, currently on a very good unbeaten run. Got clean sheets as well, and back-to-back victories, and you know, it's really looking up for the club again now. Of course, on the back of previously, you know, years ago, getting in through the Football League and League Two, and up through League One as well, and getting to the playoffs in League One, and now obviously Alex is sort of in his first job as managerial role, and you know, he's got experience alongside him with Wilkins and Mark Sampson and John Ashton, who's everyone at the club knows as well, because John Ashton, I think he was actually centre back in that Newcastle game, where the one that we won 3-1. I think he's the one that got Chick Totti sent off. Actually, I think it was him. They got the nasty injury there, and so there's a few people there that know the club and know the world of football, and they're very much helping Alex Ravel out since Christmas. And you know, you said it there in regards to getting a few more wins, but you know, I believe the club's going to be firmly safe now, even just on the back of where we are at the moment.
Yeah, you should be. Yeah. I mean, I don't doubt that, to be honest, Mike. But just a couple more wins, everybody will just properly relax, won't they, and enjoy the end of the season and the upcoming games. But yeah, I mean, I don't know a lot about Revs personally, but looking at what he's done when he came in, looking from like the outside, he looks like he's doing a great job, a really good job. And you do need time, and we can go back to the top of this interview. Like I said with Cloughy brought in 4 or 5 players that season to try and energise what he had already achieved, and to just try and push on to that next level. Brought in youth, like you said, Rob, Paul Thompson and a few others. And it was taking his time to build that momentum together. We had the cup run. The league wasn't good enough, if we're honest. But I think the next season it would have been. But we were.
Yeah. I was going to say we had a fairly decent
success.
Yeah. No, I was going to say we had a fairly decent FA Trophy run as well that season, and you know, when you were there, I think we got to the quarter-final, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, go just nipping back to that team when what I see, that squad really just cemented the position where Stevenage is now as a football club. The money that was made off of that cup run was allowed to be invested back into the club. It almost, you know, I remember the conversation with Cloughy when he said to me, Jamie, he said, I'm going to be signing a new left back. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And he said, and he's the captain of Leyton Orient. I think it was Leyton Orient. And he's coming from Leyton Orient, and I can't believe we've got him, but we can afford to pay his salary, wages, whatever. It's great news for the club. You're a tremendous player, he said. And he said, but he's going to be my first choice, so you need to make a decision of what you want to do. And I think that probably went through the team as well, because all of a sudden, you weren't needing to sign conference players. You could sign League Two players to come and take you to the next level. And that definitely happened. But putting it into context with Revs, he's obviously got a plan and he's been allowed to see his plan through, and you're reaping the benefits now. He's got a good side. He knows how he wants to play by the sound of things. He's getting the results. See this COVID season out, which is different for everybody. Some have flourished, some haven't. But Rebs looks like he's doing a good job. Now, I'd have thought next year, you've got to be looking playoffs, haven't you? At least,
absolutely. Yeah, we're, I think we're actually closer to the playoffs than we are the drop at the moment, even this season. So, there's still games to go. We've got a decent run of fixtures now against teams below us and around us. So, we could actually give it a go this season and see, if we fall short this season, then of course we've got next season and the fans are back in, and the Lamex or Broadswell Way, as you know it as, will be back to the kind of atmosphere that everyone knows Stevenage fans can bring. Yeah.
It'll always be Broadwell Way to me. Always be Broadwell Way. It's happy times, happy memories, and just knowing that we contributed to what the greatness of the club that it's now become. I mean, we got to League One, didn't we? Obviously, probably a little step too far at the time. Established League Two now. Great manager, young manager. Looks like he's going to do a great job. And I think we can take that back and say we were probably the cornerstone of that. So, it's something I like to look upon and say I contributed to that to some extent.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, all of you guys were a big impact in that. And, touching on just sort of Broadwell Way there a little bit as well. And, you said about it before in regards to after the games, you'd go in and you'd mingle with the fans and have a drink, have a sandwich, have a chat. That was a fantastic time. And of course, what was that like to play at Broadwell Way, especially like on the Tuesday night games under the lights as well, and the East Terrace in full swing, and obviously the atmosphere, the songs, and it's a great atmosphere to be involved in. But I bet it's a very different atmosphere and a very good atmosphere to play under as well. Yeah,
my time at Stevenage, unfortunately, was brief, but I had the best year. It was absolutely superb. And like I say, I've played for some really good non-league clubs in my career with some good support, good home support. But Broadwell Way was up there. It was great down that as a left back down that side when it was open, and the people along that side, it was tremendous. Great, just a great club, great memories. Lovely big pitch. Pitch was always immaculate. Well, the pitch was always going to be good with calibre of pre-season friends we used to get.
We used to get.
I was there.
Chelsea, Tottenham, Arsenal. Yeah.
Arsenal. And to be honest, I had a few friends of mine and they're still friends to this day, that they had the opportunity when I'd gone to sign for Stevenage Borough. You probably remember them. Matt Fisher.
Sam
McMahon. Like Midland lads, and a few names, and Lee Colkin and a few others who were all sort of, shall I sign? We've got Stevenage, just do it. Absolutely great club. Get down there. Great club, great fans. Just go and enjoy it. And
I remember Sam McMahon as well. Sam McMahon.
Sam certainly did for Matt.
No, for Sam, obviously, Sam got those two very nasty injuries, didn't he? And
he did.
I remember there was one game in particular with Sam where I think it was, I can't remember who the chairman was or the manager at the time or whatever, but they basically said they weren't going to pay for his operation, and it was basically the fans and the supporters funding Sam's operation. And I remember there was all the away fans helping out as well, and I think in the end he managed to get his operation that he needed, but it was all down to the club and the supporters' trust and whatever.
I mean, Sam's one of my best friends, and what a player he was. He was a tremendous player, but he had a bad time with his injuries, and he didn't really play much after Stevenage. He played locally. But it did finish him. I think he had a season at Burton after, which didn't go too well in terms of, again, broke down with his fitness. Great guy. But like I say, there's a few lads that have come from up my way that have come down to Stevenage, and it was always a no-brainer. Just go and sign. If you've got that opportunity, go and sign for them.
And there's a good connection with people from Leicester and Stevenage as well. Of course, we mentioned Barry Hales. Of course, the club had Steve Guppy as well. The club also had DJ Campbell.
Yeah, Gups,
there's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, God, yeah. When you look at it like that, yeah, there is steeped in history. I mean, I was quite lucky. I don't know how many people know this, but I used to train at Leicester City at the time.
Right.
When I was at Stevenage, I was allowed to pop into the training ground. It was just purely through somebody knew somebody. And at the time, I got to know Steve Guppy quite well. And there's another guy, Richard Nugent, centre half. Did he play for Steve?
Yeah, Richard Nugent. And Nuge's son. Yeah. Nuge's son's played for us as well, Ben. Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah. So Guts was a great guy. Just one of the nicest guys I've ever known. And, I used to work with him doing crossing after, during the training sessions or whatever. Just learn from him, really. He was the best wing back I know, I think, in a wing back role. He was brilliant at it. Couldn't play left back, couldn't play left midfield, but as a wing back, he was outstanding. Yeah, outstanding. And that was where I was trying to get to when Cloughie wanted to. I watched him and tried to learn from him when Cloughie wanted to go with the wing backs at the time, but nah, I didn't like wing back.
Stick at left back where you're used to and where you're able to do what you know. Yeah,
no, that's all I know. Yeah. That's all.
I don't know if we've got too much more to get through. We touched on obviously with Danny Newton. Of course, the club are very community based as well. They always have been, and even through the pandemic now. They've been very, out there in terms of sandwich deliveries and helplines and things like that for the local community. And of course, that's got to be great for a town of Stevenage. Of course, with being surrounded by London, all the London clubs as well. The likes of Arsenal, Chelsea, Tottenham, West Ham, etc.
Yeah. Well, there's so many players to pick from in that area, isn't there?
Yeah.
I mean, I just a little story. If it's for you, my lad was playing on trial for a West Brom team or affiliated to West Brom, and I remember he had to go over to play a friendly in Cambridge United, and I mean it was a few years ago now, but it was under 11s, maybe 12s, and he played this Cambridge team, and the kids there were astonishing. They were outstanding, and they were well coached. They were naturally talented. They were just brilliant. But I think the point I'm trying to make is a club like Cambridge United that are League Two at the minute, the top, I think, aren't they?
Top or second or something. Yeah.
The levels of the academy players that they were pulling in and attracting, and I'm assuming probably because they get sold to the Spurs, the Chelseas, the Arsenal, but the level standard was so high, and I'm sure it's probably the same with the academy in Stevenage as well. If you can concentrate on that academy and get those players in, you've got a bright future bringing them into the side with a coach like Revs. Yeah. But they've got the selling value, haven't they?
Absolutely. And it's been like that for years. It's been like that with Ben Wilmot, George Boyd. They're probably the main two, yeah.
Yeah.
Ben Kennedy's obviously gone now. He was in and around there, but he was sold and he's now playing in Ireland. Matty Godden's playing at Coventry. There's a few others. Steve Morrison obviously was signed for the club and he got higher moves and he ended up playing Premier League football and international football for Wales.
Yeah. So they're churning out some players there, aren't they? And they continue.
And of course, there's players in there these days like Jack Smith, who is a sort of not regular, I suppose, but he's in the squad all the time, really. And he was come through the academy. Arthur Ryanton's been young player for the last 2 seasons, young player of the EFL, not even just of Stevenage, the whole of the EFL.
Yeah.
There's a few others, Louis Fernandez and a couple of others as well. So they're getting a few out. And of course, there's all the experienced heads there as well, the likes of Danny that's been around and done it for a little while now. Yeah. So hopefully we can carry on up the table now, and we've got some big games to play away on Tuesday night, Leighton Orient. We've got Southend, Barrow, a couple of other games, sort of the teams around us. I think Carlisle as well in the next few weeks. And yeah, we said it there. You never know really. That's sort of 12 points with teams below us, teams around us, and I think we're only like 10 off the playoffs. So dare to dream, I suppose.
Well, why not? Why not? It's a shame the supporters aren't there allowed in the grounds at the minute to see it, isn't it? And push them on, because the Stevenage fans are excellent. I remember them in the top corner at St James's Park, boing boing, borough borough. I mean, Jesus Christ, they just never stop. And you can just imagine that, pushing you forward. But I think the club's in a great position from what I can see. And yeah, if we can dream just to maybe get into those playoffs this season, then great. But if not, it's going to be a good season next year, and the fans will be back. Hopefully, the fans will be back, and that would be great. And yeah, hopefully, I'll come down and watch one of those games or something. I'd love to come back down to Stevenage. I always like coming down. I mean, it was lovely to see people like Clive again back in when we came down 20 years ago. And behind the scenes, nothing had changed too much. It was the same thing. That family feel that you just felt so proud to be playing for them and pull the shirt on with the badge. Great, they're just a great club.
All right, I think we're actually going to just double check. I think we'll probably leave it there. Yeah, but I think we'll leave it there. Actually, Jamie, I know we've got the Liverpool game. Well, that's just finished. Actually, the Manchester derby. Liverpool have lost to Fulham.
It was 1-0 when we came on. So is that how it's?
Yeah, they lost. Yeah, they're. Well, yeah, it's a bit mad for them at the moment. Obviously, Jurgen Klopp's under a lot of pressure, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I need a Man City win today so that my boys stay second. So my beloved Leicester City. So yeah.
Hopefully, they'll get a result for you.
We're just that little club.
I was just saying, hopefully, Man City will get a result.
That little club just sandwiched in the middle.
Yeah, in between the two Manchester sides.
It would be good for us,
but you did well. Leicester did well to come back yesterday and get that win. I only saw the first half an hour, 40 minutes of the game, but I bet that was great just to even be around Leicester in 2016 when they won the league as well. I bet that was some party.
Yeah, it was an unbelievable experience. It really, really was. For the enormity of the 5,000 to 1, totally wrote off. You've got no chance. And the players that we bought, 400,000 Mahrez, Jamie Vardy, £1 million. The squad totaled around about, I can't remember the exact figure, but virtually peanuts in comparison to what's being paid in the Premier League. And we did it. We wrote history. Again, it's just something that I don't think we'll ever see. Certainly not as a Leicester fan, but I don't think football will see it again, really. Personally, it was just a freak. But then Brendan's got us in and around that top 4 now. Great coach, tremendous coach, tremendous manager. Again, gives players beliefs, gives young players opportunities of belief. And again, I think Rebs is that sort of coach as well, isn't he? Go out there, express your stuff, work within a parameter, the guidelines of the game, but feel free to express yourself. Don't be afraid. And I think that's what you're benefiting from now.
Yeah, most definitely. I think we'll go on and we'll do well now towards the end of the season. It'd be great to get everyone back in next season, fans as well, and some old players coming to show face. It'd be great again as well. Yeah.
Anytime, if you ever want me down there, I will always come down and say hello. It's great memories, and I hope you keep creating more. So, good luck to everyone.
Cheers for that, Jamie. Thanks a lot, and enjoy the rest of your Sunday as well, mate. Nice one. Cheers, Jay.
Yeah, you're welcome. Stay safe, everyone. Cheers.
Stay safe, mate. Take care. Bye now.
Bye.